It's your boy Guapo Damas. I'm in studio at the top of the world. Listen, it is Easter weekend. I'm gonna touch base with you there, Mr. LP.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna get a little bit maybe miraculous and spiritual with you as we do this special edition of 4Love of Boxing. Listen, tell me, in the ring, when have you witnessed a miracle?
Miracle?
What was the closest miracle that you've seen happen in the ring?
Oh man, so that list goes on and on, but right off the top of my head, and which is a little funny because I literally, this is why it's still fresh on my head. When the feather-fisted, pronounced Sweet Pea Whitaker saved his mega fight versus Oscar De La Hoya, where he was behind on all cards and was knocked down a couple of times during his battle versus the Cuban Diobelis Hurtado. Hurtado was outboxing him.
Yeah.
Hurtado was outboxing him clearly. And Duva in the corner was like, you have to get this mother effer out of here. And he's telling a man that he's trained since the freaking Olympic years to go in there and knock out his opponent in the last round, knowing that his fighter is not a big puncher. And oh my goodness, Pernell Whitaker delivered, and he freaking landed like, I believe it was like 7-9 unanswered overhand lefts. And the referee, dumbass, just stood there until Hurtado flopped and went in between the ropes, and he was halfway through the rope, man. That was insane. A feather-fisted man pulling off that miracle knockout to save his freaking mega fight.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. For me, I don't necessarily go with the miraculous part being like, let's say, a knockout, you know what I mean? I kind of like look at it in the fight itself being a miracle, right? That was the day that Roberto Duran turned the clocks on Iran Barkley. Nobody expected Duran to win that fight. As a matter of fact, Iran Barkley had just iced the Hitman Hearns to get that title, and Hitman Hearns had destroyed Roberto Duran. So everybody was calling Roberto a dead man that night. Yet here it came, and he delivered. And he delivered a miracle on that day, man.
I definitely could respect that. So there was so much more that I was gonna say, but you're right. We got to place ourselves at the moment. Live.
At the moment, bro. That's what I'm telling you. At the moment, everybody was like,
at the
wow.
moment, he was basically freaking counted out. They're like, oh, a lightweight dude. Now he's ballooned up to middleweight. He really got knocked out face first.
And he got knocked out by Tommy. Tommy got handled by Iran Barkley, bro.
And it had a ridiculous battle versus the great Marvin Hagler. And then Iran Barkley beat the brakes off of freaking Tommy Hearns. Only for
beat him like like Tommy stole something.
That's that thing, you know, fighter one, fighter A, fighter B type shit, man. But man, you're right. I was a little too young, I guess, to feel that vibe. But I mean, I know my boxing through and through. But now I'm putting myself on the emotional factor. To know if you're a Duran fan and you're like, damn.
So for me,
this dude's gonna he's gonna put a mollywop on him like he just did Thomas Hearns. You know?
For me, I told you that a few weeks back when we were speaking, right, and we were on the air and we're saying, hey, what was a big moment when it happened like that? You had said that you could trace back to the Chavez Meldrick Taylor fight, right? That had a miracle within itself. It might have even been a bigger miracle than the Duran fight. But for me, I said, nah. For me, I know that I watched the Barkley and Duran fight, and that was before that other fight. So to me, that was the one that stuck out in my mind the most. You know what I mean? It's not the only one though, bro.
Yeah, right.
Being that it's
so
Easter,
the one like the one you just mentioned right now. I just had a feeling. I just thought about this. Our brother Jerry, who's not in this segment, but we were talking about greatest or the best live fights that we have attended, and I actually served you guys up with 2, only for brother Jerry, Mr. Valley of the Sun, to basically give me pushback and crap because he mentioned a couple of other moments where he was like, better than this, better than that, and I was like, oh yeah. I mean, off the top, man, sometimes you just kind of whatever's fresh in our head, you know. And so there's these answers these random little segments, just understand, guys. Like, if it's still fresh in our head, maybe we may see another fight and we'll just talk about that one and be stuck in it for a while. But we roll with it.
What he's trying to tell you is that Guapo Damas is owning him again in boxing.
There we go.
And he's now trying to find excuses as to why it's happening. So I told you 2 fights, though, right? So to me, the Duran one was the first miracle that I witnessed in the ring. Obviously, the Chavez fight was a miracle. May have even been a bigger miracle within itself, and it was its own deal, too. But the one that came to mind for me, and I remember, I remember being at home and watching this at home with my mom. My mom used to watch the pay-per-view fights with me all the time, so that's who my partner was most of the time watching these fights. And I remember George Foreman getting Michael Moorer in that fight, bro. And to me, when it actually happened, it was so nutty because Michael Moorer was putting it on him in that fight, bro. It wasn't close. Like, what, round 10, right? It was round 10? It was 9-0 going into round 10, by the way. George had a couple punches he landed here and there, but all night, man, Michael Moorer had been working him. If you watch George work, he'd been working the whole fucking night too, bro. And he made that miracle happen.
One of the most iconic HBO calls.
I know, and for me it was like that, right? So I mean, just admitting something for you guys at home. In the '90s, if you wanted to watch pay-per-view fights, but you didn't have a lot of money. I grew up very poor myself, so we didn't have the money. We had a black box, bro. So the black boxes would get you the transmissions, and HBO boxing was amazing, man. You could watch HBO and get crazy good fights on HBO, right? And then if it was a big HBO pay-per-view,
you still could get it.
You
had all the channels.
What was the problem, bro?
I missed the good old the hookup with the black box, man. Y'all out there that comes from humble beginnings. I know you guys know what we're talking about. The scrambler that basically released and gave you all channels, and I mean. Oh, channels.
Listen, being that we talking about it being Easter though, and we was talking about it being a miracle, I even think that it's a nice tease that George was a preaching man, bro. That man was a preacher, and he played that miracle in there, bro.
Played.
Listen, I'm telling you, bro. I remember that. Watching it and then watching and hearing Lampley screaming in the background, it happened. It happened.
Yes.
It happened.
Yes.
And you're like, in your own mind going, damn, it did just happen. Like, what did I just see? So amazing, bro.
Yep.
Boxing is a sport that provides all the time,
Gil
bro.
Clancy was in the middle of sharing the fact how dominant Michael Moorer was, just hurting the older man. And Michael Moorer was like, popped a jab or like a little check uppercut. And he's like, and Michael Moorer, boom. And then he like kind of shut his mouth, and they're like, down goes Michael Moorer, and all 3 of them, complete silence. I can imagine their call table. They're like at the edge of their feet, like what? Because there was also their colleague too. Remember? Because he was also calling fights, and they were all sitting there.
Rest in peace, Big George.
They're all
Such
sitting
amazing memories, both on calling and I've seen his fights.
They were all sitting there in silence during the fucking count, and even like a few seconds after it got waved. That's when Lampley did that fucking belch, that fucking scream. It happened. It happened.
Woo. I got chills.
I
remember seeing
I got
Michael
chills,
Moore's
brother.
lip, man.
I got chills.
Some people was like, what really did just happen? I go, he got his face destroyed. Look at his face. And his mouth was like,
popped his lip, bro.
His whole thing was up,
Popped his lip.
And being able to get in front of Michael Moorer, bro, and talk to him, you know what I mean? Like, that's a brave man, bro. Guys, he's my size. He's my size, bro. He's my size, and he stood in front of Big George,
You got to think of it like this. Like, when you saw all those folks at the Hall of Fame.
At the Hall of Fame, yeah.
Big George is more of the size spectrum of Hasim Rockman. Big man.
A monster, bro.
And
I think George might have been bigger.
And Hasim Rockman that's what I was getting. Hasim Rockman is like a way bigger man than Michael Moorer. The fact that the light heavyweight badass, the undisputed light heavyweight, well, he wasn't undisputed.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, he was.
The fact that he was able to go up to heavyweight as a small light heavyweight and still go up and freaking dominate the heavyweight division for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Screams volumes of his greatness.
Salute to you, Michael Moorer, man.
But Big George definitely, all it took was that one shot. And that was
well, I mean, Big George had that kind of punching power, you know what I mean? Sometimes, every once in a while, you get those freaks that just can punch through the room, and they hit you with one, and it only has to be one for it to be in the right spot, and you're going to sleep.
And I know this is a short one. Let me get a couple honorary mentions, and I want to give my second, okay, real quick. So, honorary mention, we definitely got to mention this too. You mentioned the Chavez one, respect. But a month before that, where the man that's basically made sports history as the biggest underdog to shock the world when he knocked out the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson, James Buster Douglas. Victory. That was a miracle.
You want me to tell you why it was less miraculous for me, at least?
That was a miracle.
You want me to tell you why it was less miraculous for me?
Because you knew Tyson was slacking or something?
No, because Tyson knocked him out in the 6th round.
So it should have been done.
That fight was done.
Well, that makes more for the miracle, right?
Yeah.
Another honorary, Phoenix very own, Little Hands of Stone, where I myself watched it and I was crushed and my heart hurt as a kid. And I know Carbajal since I was like a tween, but when Chiquita Gonzalez dropped him for the second time, and his rope, his hand was hanging on the rope, like as he got dropped. I knew either if he was going to get up, it was the beginning of the end, or he was done. But not only did he pull himself up after that second knockdown, but he prevailed and knocked out Chiquita Gonzalez, and that was spectacular. But for me, the second one for my pick is maybe you guys don't know the names, and I encourage you guys to Google it. But John David Jackson, who's a great trainer now, versus Jorge Castro from Argentina. John David Jackson was an excellent boxer. He was definitely
what weight division was John David Jackson?
It was middleweight.
Middleweight.
Nope. It was one. Yes, it was middleweight.
Hey, that Argentina dude you just named, that's not the one that with Terry Norris and.
Nope.
No. Okay. Good, man. I was gonna say.
No.
Don't pull that guy out today.
Jorge Castro was the dude's name, and he had like 115 fights in his career.
Yeah,
man.
they'd be fighting.
In
bro.
fact, he and Roberto Duran fought years later in their elder years, in their 100-some plus. Duran got him.
I bet you Duran beat him.
Castro was no joke though during his reign, and John David was boxing circles. He dominated him, bro. Ripped his face apart like he went through a meat grinder. Both eyes shut, bleeding. His lip was ripping and busted up. Like he was just a bloody mess. And they were trying to. They wanted to stop the fight, but they kept pushing his ass out there. And John David hits him with a shot, and he freezes, like his body and he starts crumbling back to the ropes. And then John David, with his flashy freaking speed and punches combinations, he was putting it on him. Only for the guy that was really wounded, and I'm not sure if he was playing possum or not. That was his last hurrah, or he just had a little bit left in him. But he threw a wide left hook. John David missed it, and it was still punching him, and he threw that freaking right, and it landed and put him on his ass, dude, for the knockout of the year and fight of the year for 1994.
Oh man, I hadn't been born yet, bro. I wasn't born until 99. Yeah. No, listen, man.
Since 1999. Man, that's what's up. This is a pretty good one.
Man, listen, I'm telling you, bro. It's one of those deals. It's the gift that keeps on giving is what boxing is. Thank you guys for joining us on an Easter weekend here. 4Love of Boxing giving it to you. My man, Mr. LP.
Yes.
Wish them, bro. Right here. Look right here and give your honest thing.
Happy Easter. Wherever you guys are spending your time with your loved ones, family, and friends. You know, you're barbecuing at the park, at a family's. Be safe, success, and nothing less. I wish you guys all the best. Make sure you guys get home safe. All right, I know maybe. This is a calm and cool, chill episode here. Y'all be safe, okay? Drive safe out there. Happy Easter.
Everybody stay blessed. Happy Easter. All my Christians out there. Love you guys. Yeah.